Plan in Venice to combat red tide is coming together. The plan came out of a community meeting on Monday, and today the city council is already putting parts of it in motion.
ABC 7's Rebecca Fernandez is live with specifics about what will be done to cut down on pollution and fight the red tide. Rebecca?
Jacqueline Scott, well, yesterday's meeting was supposed to be a way for people to know how Venice is doing in terms of red tide. And after going through every way possible that we may be affecting this toxic bloom, the city will now be answering that common question. Okay, so now what? The city of Venice is beginning to take action less than 24 hours after the red tide special meeting.
Everybody's on the same page. We all wanted the same thing done, so it wasn't bantering back and forth. It was focused on solving a problem, bringing the problem to head, and trying to come up with some solutions.
First and foremost, the city manager is creating a plan to help Sarasota County with additional cleanup efforts. Mayor John Hollick is also writing a letter to Governor Rick Scott asking that the state limit the amount of nitrogen, animal waste, and phosphorus released into all of our waterways, including Lake Okeechobee.
There is evidence that algal blooms use nutrients that are available to grow. So while there's nutrients coming from lots and lots and lots of different sources, both from inland water bodies, naturally occurring in the sediments in the ocean, we want to make sure that our outfalls are not contributing excess nutrients that are making this worse.
So here comes the next step in the city's red tide plan, monitoring pollution that goes into the ocean. Venice already has a stormwater treatment system that takes rainwater from our yards and our streets, removes nutrients that feed the algae, then cleans it underground before dumping it into the Gulf of Mexico.
That's going to mean physical water sampling at these outfall points so that we can really tell what is coming out of them in more of a real scientific way.
Next on the list are ways that we can contribute from home.
Stricter requirements for new development in regards to Florida native plants, irrigation practices, fertilizing.
And last but certainly not least is the sewage systems throughout the city of Venice.
Less than 0.5% of our customers still have septic tanks, and that is where some nutrients aren't digested by the bacteria and there can be some contamination of groundwater.
So with all these new changes and regulations, the city of Venice believes it can make significant improvements for our environment.
We can't continue to go on and wait for the next red tide outbreak 5 or 10 years from now and then start all over again. We have to tackle this when it's here, find a way to mitigate it. There isn't any way to eliminate it, but there may be ways to reduce it. So that's what we're going to be looking for.
Throughout the next month, City Council members will continue to meet and put together specifics on how to roll out each one of these plans. They hope to implement them as soon as possible, but definitely by the end of this year. Live in Venice, Rebecca Fernandez, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.